take it off me for a minute. Hey, smashing, you take hold of those. Lovely. Oh, there you go. I can give up my day job for a moment. Hello and welcome to Use Your Loaf. And as the title of our show suggests, this programme is all about bread, how it's made, who eats it, and what the power of flour can do for your diet. So we'll be finding out why wholemeal bread really is the best bread there is, how many budding master bakers we've got in our audience, and also we'll be quizzing you on the kind of food you enjoy eating the most. In fact, by the time we've finished, you'll be in no doubt at all why bread has been around for 7,000 years and why we're still happily chomping and chewing our way through 10 million loaves every day. So, if you want to join in, all you've got to do is what?
Use your loaf!
Oh, they're loud, aren't they? OK, let's start by finding out which kind of loaf you use the most at home. And they come in all different shapes and sizes. Just have a look over here. White bread, some of it already sliced. There's rolls, also a few baps here too. And down over this way, there's brown bread. That's also sliced as well. A few rolls and a few baps, and a few other things too. And over here, there's wholemeal bread. Now that, in fact, is not the same as brown bread, and we'll be finding out why a little bit later on in the programme. And up here, well, some unusual things. We have baguettes from France. We also have pita bread, and down here, tortillas from Mexico. They're all bread in one form or another. So, which kind of bread do you usually eat at home? Well, let's find out from our audience. Come out here and come and stand behind the bread that you normally eat at home. Come on, as quickly as you can. Lovely. There they all go. Great. And two more left. Well, let's have a look. Oh, you've got an awful lot of people around here behind the white. You like white bread, do you?
Yes!
Give everybody a little wave at home. Give them a big wave. There you go. Down here, we've only got two people, in fact, behind the brown bread. Two people left on your own. You like brown bread?
Yeah.
Honestly?
Yeah.
Good news. Now look up here, wholemeal bread. We've only got 5 people. Well, make it 6 because I'm one of them. And we'll be finding out why they're the smartest a little bit later on. And up here, well, we've actually got not too many people behind the unusual different types of bread, things like tortillas, baguettes. What's your favourite bread?
Pita bread.
Ah, the heavy, juicy stuff, eh? All right. But is there anyone left in our audience that doesn't have bread at all? Let's have a look. Not a soul in sight there. OK, go and fill the seats. Back to your seats, please. Great, thank you all very much. So, obviously, bread is something that all of us eat at any rate here in Britain. But is this true for the rest of the world? Well, right now, let's find out. Hey, it's great to have the world at your feet, isn't it? Right, we want some volunteers to come and move our rostrums. Come on. Great, because right now we're going to use this map to discover where people eat bread in different parts of the world. So, can we have our audience out here? Come and stand on the map, please. Come and stand where you think people eat bread in different parts of the world. Lovely. On the States, Russia, eh? Let's have a look. Well, you can see people are eating bread all over the world, apart from over here. This is Southeast Asia, in fact, so I'm going to move you back, because they don't eat bread there. They, in fact, eat rice as a part of their staple diet and not bread. So what do we say to the rest of the world?
Use your loaf!
The basic ingredient in any loaf of bread is flour, but to make flour you have to start with the cereals, with the actual grains themselves that grow and ripen on cereal plants like wheat. But the loaf you end up with depends on the kind of flour you make, and that depends in turn on the type of grain you use. In fact, the bread that you actually eat depends very much on where in the world you live. So, have a look at this. Down here, we've got rye. Now, rye, this is grown in poorer climates and soils, places like Russia and Northern Europe. And here's the flour that you end up with. Look at this, it's much sort of coarser and darker than the flour that we're used to. And so is the bread. That's very dark, in fact. And it's also quite heavy too. And have a look at this. We've got oats. There are the oats themselves. And this is the flour that you end up with. It's quite dark too, isn't it? And here's the bread. Well, it looks like biscuits. Well, they are, in fact, Scottish oatcakes. I'm sure you've all heard of them. Not bad, too. Look over here. This is maize. Look at the size of these grains. Massive, aren't they? Don't get much flour, too. But look at the colour. Lovely, isn't it? And look at these. Funny biscuits, aren't they? Got tough gums in that part of the world. Places like Mexico and, well, Africa. This is the sort of stuff I'm used to seeing. Wheat, this is the grain. Here's the flour that, well, I've seen many times before. My mum's mixed a bit of this. And of course, here's the bread. OK, right now, let's take this lot away, please. Because what we're going to do is we're actually going to put these loaves on the map. Yes, where those bits of bread live in the world. So, we have, first of all, we've got the rye bread. So let's put that up into Russia and also Northern Europe too. That goes down there. We've got the Scottish oatcakes, so put them in Scotland, please. We've got wholemeal bread. That's going up there in America, right down here. And put that down in Australia. Put one in Great Britain, near the oatcake over there. That one there. And there we have the maize bread. That's going into Africa, also down there in to South America. So there you go. A great deal of bread in a great deal of places. So what do we say to everyone all over the world?
Yes, your love!
Dead right. The bread we eat today is fresh every morning, even when it's sliced and wrapped. In fact, they can produce it these days in only 4.5 hours. But bread making itself is a skill that's been around for a very, very long time. So right now, let's take a trip into the past and go back into history where it all began. Back in 1666, the Great Fire of London swept through the city. It all started in a bakery belonging to John Fariner, who was no less a person than the King's own baker. Back still further in Norman times, well, you couldn't nip down to the corner shop to buy a wrapped loaf or a sliced white, but you could buy a trencher, a loaf so flat that people used it as a plate at meal times. And if you were hungry enough to eat both the meal and the plate, people called you a trencherman. The Romans ate bread, and so did the ancient Egyptians. And in Britain, we can go right back to Stone Age man, who probably made bread out of acorns. But the one problem that everyone had to crack was grinding the corn to make flour. For thousands of years, they crushed it between stones, at first by hand, then using animal power. Until someone invented the watermill. And then the windmill. Grinding corn between huge stone wheels called millstones was the way that everyone made flour, until the Industrial Revolution. Then millstones all over the country started to grind to a halt, and in came steel rollers, still the most up-to-date way of grinding corn to this day. But stone grinding didn't die out altogether. In fact, it's still going strong at mills like this one at Castleford. And that's because wholemeal bread has never been more popular. About 100 years ago, a doctor called Tom Allinson became convinced that the poor health of most of his patients was actually caused by their diet. So he started to look round for a simple answer and found it in wholemeal bread, full of vitamins and energy, minerals and protein. It was exactly what his patients needed for a really healthy diet. So he toured all over the country, spreading the word. And gradually, well, the idea caught on. And just to show you he meant business, he and his family started to buy their own mills, including the one at Castleford to make the flour the wholemeal way. Today, more and more people are enjoying wholemeal bread. Bread made from flour using the whole grains and ground between two stones, just like it was 7,000 years ago. Well, right now, it's time to get mucky and messy as I don my hat, because bread making's been around for a very long time. And right now, I'm going to have a go at making it. And give a nice round of applause to the man who's going to show me how to do it. He's been around for 7,000 years too. Roy Thorpe.
Thank you.
Nice to have your company.
Pleasure.
We've got so much in front of us. What have we actually got here?
Well, we start with flour. Now, this is actually wholemeal flour.
Right.
You can see it's a bit coarser than the normal type of flour.
It is. It's very rough indeed, isn't it?
Right.
Surprisingly enough.
Wholemeal flour.
And you've got loads of little bits and pieces down
Right.
here. What's
now, this one is salt. We need salt to give it a flavour and also control the dough.
I never thought salt went into it. I can't see anything here.
That's just a little bit of vegetable oil.
Why do you actually put vegetable oil in it?
Well, that makes the dough nice and moist and keeps the loaf nice and moist, keeps it a little bit longer than normal.
Oh, lovely. And down here?
That's sugar. Sugar, again, adds a bit of flavour to the loaf, and it also acts for the yeast to help it to rise in the dough.
Oh, so they
To
sort of
rise.
like act together, so to say.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then those little tablets is a vitamin C tablet.
I
You
thought
use
they were from
half-
my headache.
Sorry. You use half of one of those in this mix, actually, which
What-
is already in the bowl there.
Why vitamin C?
Well, normally the dough takes about an hour to sort of prove and rise, ready to make the bread. And putting those in, it speeds the whole process up and makes it a little bit faster for us.
Got you. Now this little mess over here, what's all this?
Well, that's yeast. It's dried yeast. And when that gets into the water, it'll start to work very rapidly and make the dough rise up as we know.
I need to add, I did wash my hands beforehand. Finally.
This is water, just under 400 mils of water, which is warm, again to make the dough nice and ready to move.
There doesn't seem to be too much there, really, when you're mixing all this
We're
together.
hoping it's just sufficient for this amount of flour.
I'm dying to have a go. But before we start, let's see how the professionals do it. Keep a little eye on the top left-hand corner of your screen, and you'll see how they make it on a production basis. But meanwhile, it's back to the amateurs, me. What do we do? How do we start?
Right, well, first of all, let's start with the water. Can we put all the water in there?
Now, we've got some vitamin C
We've
in
got
here
half a
already.
vitamin C tablet in there already. Yes.
OK, so all that lot goes in here.
That goes in there.
Great.
With the sugar.
Oh, a bit of sugar too, isn't it? Great. Oop, there we go. Put a little sprinkle in there.
And if you can stir all that together with the fork.
Now, this has all got to dissolve, I presume.
Dissolve the sugar, yes.
You're only good at making bread.
This again is why it's warm water, so it's the
Helps things
hopefully,
along.
yeah, that's right.
You're only good at doing this.
Of course, yes. We've been doing it for years.
So you get me to do it.
That's fine. Now you can add the yeast.
OK, this little lump here. It's not much, really, is there?
That's sufficient again.
Oop, hold on.
And you mix all that together and it goes creamy. Takes a bit more mixing in this one.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? I knew there was some hard work and sweat involved in this, you know.
Yeah, this is the easy part.
Oh, is it? You get more difficult, does it?
Make sure it's all gone into a cream, all mixed in.
My wife Maggie makes bread, you know.
Is she? Is she any good at it?
You could build a dry stone wall with it. No, I mustn't say that. It's quite good.
Yeah.
Now, what else?
Okay, now we can leave that one alone for a few seconds.
Yeah, that
And
takes
the
a
salt.
little breather.
We can put in with the flour.
Right. And a little bit of that
That's it.
in there.
And also run the vegetable oil in with the flour.
OK. Is it there? Hold
Just
on.
about. That's
Yeah,
it.
there it goes.
Right,
Lovely.
right. So now we're all ready to go.
OK, what do
So
we
now
do?
we make sure that's all fully dissolved.
Is that looking all right to you?
That's right, beautiful.
Can't
Now,
see any
tip
lumps
all
there.
of that into the bowl.
Right. There she blows.
That's fine. Now what you're going to do is mix it until it's nice, smooth dough.
OK, great.
Hang on, not with a fork.
What?
With your hands, please.
This is the mucky bit, is it? I knew that. Oh, gosh, I'll just go for it. Ooh,
That's wonderful.
it's horrible, actually.
Just keep,
Yeah. It's not too bad. How long have I got to?
well, just
do this
keep
one?
mixing it till all the flour's mixed in and a nice, smooth dough.
Is this what they call kneading, then, is it?
Now, this is just the mixing stage. We haven't got to the kneading stage yet.
Oh, there's more work.
Oh, more, much more.
Oh,
That's it.
it'll be here all week.
Coming along, love.
Look at this. Gunge. Quite like it, really. Gosh.
That's it.
I think the production basis is easier.
Anyway, to short-circuit the system,
Right.
we've got so far. Now, we've already got a dough which has been prepared in advance.
OK.
So we're now going to cover that one over and leave it underneath for about 5 minutes to rise up in the dough stage.
I've got you. So we're
Now,
jumping, really, aren't we?
Jumping the gun, that's right. So there's our one that's already been prepared.
Lovely.
Put that
That's-
underneath there.
Oh, well, it's still quite soggy, isn't it?
Still fairly soft, yeah. Now what we need to do with this one now is to knead it.
Right. Now, this is what I've heard of kneading.
Kneading.
What's it mean by
So what we're
kneading?
going to do is develop the dough. We're going to stretch it and pull it and stretch it so we make sure the yeast is all worked in properly. And we've stretched the dough so it's nice and soft and pliable and elastic.
I also hear you trying to get air into it as well.
Yes, and air, yes. As
Yeah.
we mix it so we get air into it, so we stretch it and pull it. As you see, it's getting sort of more and more elastic all the time. So it's gone away from that. There's no flour or dry mess in it.
You have done this before, haven't you?
Once or twice.
Now, how long are you supposed to do that for, then?
Just keep doing it until it's nice and soft and smooth and elastic. That's what we said before.
You just take your own time, really.
More or less, yeah. It takes a few minutes, 2 seconds. OK.
Lovely.
And a good guide is if we cut that in half,
Yeah.
you'll be able to see what the texture's like inside. See, there's no dry flour in it. There's no bits of
No, that's
ingredients. It's all nice and smooth all the way through.
Yeah, and you can see the wholemeal flour there, can't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
So all we need to do with that now is mould it up and ready to put it into the tins. We've got greased tins here already.
Great.
So we just put all that nice and neatly, nice neat shape. Fold all the ends in. Roll it up nice and tight.
It's getting more like I recognise bread.
Right. So
Lovely.
we put that in there now, and then that goes in the prover, and that proves for about 50 minutes.
What do you mean by prove?
Well, we put it into a nice, warm, humid place, right? And then it gradually rises up and gets bigger and bigger till it's just over the edge of the tin, and then it's ready to go into the oven. Then.
So how long does that take?
About 50 minutes.
Well, you mentioned the oven. Before we actually put that in the oven, I've got into a bit of a mess here, so why can't you lot? Anybody ever made bread before? Let's have a look. Oh, an awful lot of them. I'm after around about 6 people. Have you washed your hands? Right? Show me your hands. Let me see the clean. Great. All right, I want 6. You, and you, and you. That's 6 people. Come down here. Go on, as quickly as you can. Great, here they come, fit and athletic. You've got aprons and hats down there if you'd all like to put them on. Great, let me put you... Oh, all right, you two can mix over the way here because you're here. Let me put you two in the middle a bit more because you're going to need... They're the ones that are going to get mucky. And you two over this side can cut the loaf. All right, you have to knead it a little bit more and put it into the pans over the way. Are we all ready? Great, OK. Well, that lot out there, should we give them a bit of advice? What should they do?
Use your loaf!
Away you go.
Now we better put those into the prover, just to let them rise for about 50 minutes.
OK, let's do that. Can you pass us those? There we go. Good wholemeal loaf, right?
Oh, yes. Fascinating to see what they're like when they're ready.
Yeah. Can I say
Beautiful.
to all of you, thank you very much. Cheers, well done. They're cheering for me, of course. Well, as you can see, it's sheer energy that's keeping me going. You can all have a breather. Back to your seats, please. Oh, well, of course, we get energy from food. But how do we know how much energy we were getting? Well, we measure it with calories. Right now, let's find out more about them. My dancing's getting worse. Right, back to energy. Food contains all kinds of things that are vital to our health. Protein to help us grow and to help us repair our body tissue. Minerals and vitamins to strengthen our bones and keep our skins healthy too. And some foods contain a lot of fibre, especially wholemeal bread. And that keeps our digestive system running smoothly by keeping us regular. But the main sources of energy in the food we eat comes from fat and carbohydrates, and we can tell how much energy we're actually getting by measuring it in calories. So right now, let's see how that works. But first of all, I need a favourite meal. What sort of things do you like to eat? Put your hands up, let me have a look around. What would you suggest?
Pizza.
You like pizza, do you? Yeah. Great, it's good for you, pizza. Put your hands up if you like pizza. Anybody like pizza? There's quite a few hands up there. Anybody else? The guy top, at the very top, third along, what do you like?
Hamburger.
He likes hamburgers. And the guy next to him, what do you like?
Green eggs and ham.
Green eggs and ham. Lovely. What about the girl on the far end there? What do you like to eat?
Sausages.
You like sausages, do you? So we've got sausages, hamburger and pizza. All right, let's put them to the vote. Hands up for pizza. Ooh, about a third of the people here. Who likes hamburgers? 5 people. Hands up for sausages. Oh, very popular indeed. All right, let's have sausages on our main meal. They go up onto our screen. There you go. And let's pick something vegetables. We want 2 different types. Let's go for something like potatoes first. What type of potatoes do you like? There's a guy on the front row there. What do you like?
Chips.
You're a chip man, are you? Anybody else like any other types of potato? What do you like?
Boiled potatoes.
Boiled potatoes. And of course there's mashed and there's loads of types of potato. Let's vote on those 2 then. Hands up for mashed potato and boiled. Hey, hands up for chips. All right, that goes up onto our screen. We want another vegetable. Hands up for type of vegetables you like to eat.
Cauliflower.
Lovely. And what about the girl to the right of you there? What would you suggest?
Asparagus.
Very posh, aren't we?
Carrots.
Carrots. All right, we've got 3 things there. Hands up for cauliflower. 3 people. Hands up for asparagus. Hands up if you know what it means, because I don't. Hands up for the girl who said carrots. Oh, very popular. That goes up onto the screen too. What do you like to drink? And I'm not buying them. All the hands are up here. Yeah.
Fruit juice.
You like fruit juice, do you? Would that be unsweetened or fresh fruit juice? What?
Fresh fruit.
Fresh fruit juice. Tongue twister, isn't it? Let's go to the other side now. What do you suggest?
Cola.
All right then, we've got a fresh fruit drink and say we've got cola. Hands up for fresh fruit drinks. Not many. Hands up for cola. Oh, incredibly popular. All right, that goes up onto the screen too. And right now, let's add up the old calorific value. And there you have sausages at 317 calories. Chips, in fact, came out top. They've got 380 calories. Carrots, well, only 19 calories, in fact. And cola there's no protein, there's no minerals, but lots of energy, 150 calories. So there you go, we have a total of 866 calories. That's a lot, isn't it? Well, although calories can tell us how much energy we're getting from food, they can't tell us whether we're eating a balanced diet. And that's what really matters, the right balance between fat, carbohydrate, sugar and fibre, not forgetting vitamins and minerals too. And let me show you what I mean. Here's a typical breakfast. You've probably had one like this morning. Cornflakes with ordinary milk and sugar, 2 slices of toast made from white bread and spread with lots of butter. A cup of tea or coffee, again with ordinary milk, and a glass of sweetened orange juice. Now that lot there adds up to about 760 calories, just over 1/3 of which comes from fat. And there's a lot of sugar in that breakfast too. And you know what sugar can do to your teeth. And as for fibre, well, we'd only get 3 grams of that out of this breakfast. And it's, well, not really enough. Now, let's just see how easy it is to turn that breakfast into a really balanced meal. First, we change from cornflakes to a high-fibre cereal, cutting out the sugar and eating a banana. And we use semi-skimmed milk instead of ordinary milk, both on the cereal and in the cup of tea or coffee. For the toast, we switch from white bread to thick-sliced wholemeal and spread it with a low-fat spread instead of butter. Finally, we make sure that the orange juice is an unsweetened one. And there you go, it's still a smashing meal to start the day with. But the difference is now that it's a balanced one. For a start, we've reduced the fat content by 1/3 and cut out a lot of that sugar too. But the fibre content now is 5 times more, due mainly to the wholemeal bread. So, it's as simple as that. By making a few crafty changes, we've created a really healthy breakfast, and one that's, well, just as enjoyable. So really, all you have to do is what? Which right now brings us back to that favourite meal of yours. Well, there's nothing wrong with having a meal like that now and again, but it could very easily be turned into a really balanced meal. Now, you could have changed your sausages and had chicken instead. Carrots are okay, they're fine. The chips you could have had boiled or mashed like that lady down there suggested. And instead of cola, you could have had something like fresh orange juice. Now, put your hands up. Have we got any vegetarians here? Hands up, let's have a look around. Little butchers. What sort of things do you enjoy eating?
Veggie burgers, salad, cottage cheese.
Do you find there's lots of variety? You don't get bored with it?
Yes.
Yeah. My sister agrees with you. She's a vegetarian too. Well, there you go. The experts tell us that much or most of us are eating far too much fat and sugar in our food without even realising it. But as you've seen, you don't have to be a health food freak to get the balance right. According to the experts, you can eat fat in your food so long as you keep it down to, well, just under a third of your energy intake. The rest is mainly carbohydrates, but watch out for the sugar. Keep it down to a reasonable level. And believe you me, well, the good old gums and teeth won't regret it. And don't forget, eating the right mix of food can be as just as much fun and a lot better for you. All our energy comes from food, and that energy is vital. At your age, you need over 1,000 calories of energy just to lie around and do nothing. And most of us get 1/6 of the energy we need from bread, like this. Either in things like rolls, baps, crumpets and muffins, it's all bread. But as Dr. Tom Allinson discovered, the kind of bread that's got everything you need for a balanced diet is this one. Wholemeal bread. It's got protein, carbohydrates, minerals galore and lots of fibre for the digestive system. But it's only got a little sugar and vegetable fat in it. So with wholemeal bread, every slice is a balanced diet. And talking of bread, wonder how our loaves have turned out. Well, fingers crossed. They're in the oven. They've been there for a little while. So, let's have a... Oh, smell nice? Lovely. I'll just take a couple out here. Oh, they're not bad at all, are they? Quite good. Maybe not like Mother used to bake, but they'll do. Hey, out of interest, any of you actually any good at cutting bread? I'm looking for 3 people. Who can we have? Let me have you, you, and you over there. Smashing. Come down here. Great. All right, in front of you. You've got three loaves there, different types of bread, in fact. Cut them in half. Well, they're going to take hours doing that. Doing it like a carpenter here. Now take them to everybody in the audience and just show them what you've got. 3 different loaves there. Have a little look at them. Now, if you actually look closely at the 3 different loaves, you can see the 2 of them, the white and the brown, have a smooth appearance. But the wholemeal loaf is different. If you look carefully, you can see that it's much rougher in texture, and that's because they put the whole of the wheat grain into the flour. That's why it's called wholemeal bread. Bread with the whole wheat grain in it. It's the whole grain that makes wholemeal bread different from others. So right now, let's take a closer look at one. This is a grain of wheat, a single grain. It consists of 3 parts, the germ, the endosperm and the bran. And it's a real power pack, in fact, crammed with goodies, especially the bran. Those 6 layers contain no less than 5 different minerals essential to our health, as well as 3 different kinds of vitamin B. And wholemeal bread is the only kind that contains all those extra goodies, which is why so many people reckon it's the best bread there is and the tastiest. By including all the bran in the wholemeal loaf, its fibre content is immediately trebled. And this means that you only need to eat 4 slices a day to get a third of the fibre you need daily. The other 2/3 comes from fruit and vegetables. That's why, you see, it's so smart to eat wholemeal bread. And that's why it's getting more and more popular. And you can eat it in lots of different ways. There's soup with toasted wholemeal bread croutons. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? There's chicken drumsticks cooked in wholemeal breadcrumbs, stuffed mushrooms, casseroles with wholemeal bread topping, bread and butter pudding, that's my favourite, summer pudding, and delicious strawberry crumble. And how about, I've never heard of this in fact, wholemeal ice cream. Sounds good, doesn't it? Makes my mouth water. Mind you, it does depend on who made the wholemeal bread in the first place. So, in fact, I wonder how ours has turned out. It's cooled off just a little bit over the way here. So do you want to come and try it? Yeah, come down. Come on, have a little slice. Right, round the back here. Yeah, they're still slightly warm, not too hot though. Here, you dish that out to all your friends. Take a little bit each. And let me break this one in half. Go on, you pass that around to your friends. And a little bit more for you over there. That's yours. And a big chunk for myself. All right, the all-important moment, the tasting time. What do you lot think first?
Very tasty.
Yeah, happy?
Yeah.
It really is, well, I think I'll leave it to the professionals. And talking of the professionals, here he comes. Sandwiches and all. We've got cheese, we've got salmon, ham, oh, the lot. Roy, very kind of you. Do you all like a sandwich? Yep. Dig in, help yourselves. And what am I going to have? I think I'll have a salmon and cucumber now. Oh, that's very good. Excellent. Oh, there really is nothing like wholemeal bread because, as they say, there's no taken out. Try it for yourself. Pop it into your next packed lunch for school. In other words, you lot, what is it?
Yeah!